Welcome to Get Smart Office Edition.
The show where we help you laugh about and get better at office life.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Laura.
And it's Friday.
Woo! On Fridays, we share the real stories that inspired our skits and tips that we share on Mondays and Wednesdays. Plus, you get to hear the bloopers that our editor thinks are funny, and hopefully you will too.
Now, let's get smart.
And silly.
So, Laura, you and I have both been in workplaces for 10 plus years.
Yes.
I assume that you have experienced this.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's just the worst, right?
Sometimes I just hate everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what happens. It just kind of eases up. And then it's fine. This is fine. Not even like a I'm in a burning room fine, but like it's actually fine.
Like totally, this is okay. Everything is okay and I'm okay, not sarcastically.
Yep.
It's interesting to see people who are just coming into the workforce or just coming into an office environment, because I think a lot of the time they don't realize that this is going to happen if they're at a place long enough.
Yeah.
The first time I had this happen, I was in my, probably my mid-20s, and I had always been really enthusiastic about work, and I really wanted to continue feeling that way. And so when I didn't, I thought immediately, well, it's probably time for me to find a new job. And then I didn't really want to leave because I built a lot of good relationships there. There were growth opportunities. There's a lot of other benefits. And I just stayed because I didn't see why I should leave other than the fact that I just felt dissatisfied and just like, why am I going to work every day? But eventually it did turn around. And as I got older and I was at that same job, I realized that this was a cyclical thing that was happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's like being on a, spinning wheel, and, there's several months or several years where you're feeling great about work and you're excited to work on the things that they've given you and, pursuing growth and all those things. And then you get to a point where you're like, I'm so good at my job. There's nothing new. And I don't feel challenged, or I don't feel appreciated, or, something like that. And then you just feel like, why am I even coming to this job? I need to find a place that's better for me.
You're signaling to your employees that like you need help,
help. And so I think that it's really, really normal if you're in a place long enough to feel this way repeatedly, not just once, but like it's going to happen over and over again. But it's also important to know when you should leave.
Yeah.
And I have been guilty of staying at places too long. You know that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. I was real fast on raising my hand on that one. I shouldn't have.
Me too.
Oh, me. This is not something to be proud of necessarily.
There's a comfort level in the things you know, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy to stay someplace that maybe it's time to leave.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels easier than taking the steps to go. I will say at one of my first office jobs, I was there for a very long time. I think over a decade in total.
Whoa.
And when I realized that I was coming home angry every day and I was stressing out my coworkers because of how unhappy I was at the job, it was time to go.
Yeah.
Because even though I was actually the top of my field in that job, there was nobody anywhere near my skill set for that particular position in the company. And I had a very cushy job as far as like, I felt needed, I felt appreciated. There were aspects that were really causing a lot of dissatisfaction, and I was starting to negatively affect others. And that was the point where it was time for me to go.
Yeah. Feeling appreciated is a really big one.
It's huge. And hopefully, like right now, like in your job, hopefully you do have people who make you feel appreciated, even if it's not every day or every person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that makes a huge difference in pulling you out of those valleys of feeling like your job isn't worth it.
Transitions are hard too, especially if it's your supervisor.
Absolutely.
that can cause all kinds of feelings, really.
Stress, apprehension,
Oh, no.
dissatisfaction in general.
Sadness if you really like them.
Oh, yep. Sadness. Yep. I definitely had one of those.
I did too. I did have a job I stayed at for too long where it was one of the points that you mentioned of like, is there a toxic relationship? Is this person a bad manager? Yes. And I stuck it out longer than I probably should have because I'm like, no, it'll get better. It can't get worse. It got worse. Spoilers.
Yes.
But there is something to sticking it out because maybe it could have.
And also sometimes it's your perception, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you come home and you feel like this person is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can take an objective stance, because maybe they came in as your new supervisor because your old supervisor got fired or something. Or in my case, my supervisor got demoted for unwarranted reasons. And it was one of those things where it was very difficult to accept.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you took a step back from your feelings about the specific situation, and I had to look at the new manager and say, actually, that was a really good choice of a leader for our team. Even though I don't like why this happened, I had to take a step back and go, okay, he's not toxic. And the way he's treating our team is actually really good. And he's trying to do the best he can for us. So he is not a problem. And I need to not treat him like he's the problem. But it is hard to take that step back, which is why one of the things we recommend in the episode is to ask an objective friend who is not part of your workplace to evaluate the situation and purely based upon the facts. Like just give your friend the facts, don't color it with your feelings, and then ask them how they would approach the situation or how they think about it.
Yeah. I think we've done that for each other
100%.
before.
A lot.
And also, I want to point out that especially for me, I don't necessarily tell you anything about my job unless it's really, really good or really, really bad.
That's true. You don't tell me the day to day.
No. So you're only hearing a curated extreme.
There was a time when I think you were going through a valley where I only heard everything bad that was horrible and obnoxious. And I was like, Laura, if it's that bad, you should leave. I'm so worried about you.
I was okay. I made it.
And then she came out of the valley.
Yeah.
So, it was one of those things
There
where
was also
you're right. I was only hearing the bad.
There was also some managerial reorganizational stuff happening. So it wasn't just me.
Yes. There was a lot going on in the office. And you definitely heard all of my I can't believe these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be like, wow, that person is awful.
Yes.
You should not interact with them anymore. Yep.
And sometimes that's a true statement, right? Like there are actual toxic people that you probably don't want to be around. And sometimes the only option is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also people who maybe you just have a bad relationship with because you guys had miscommunication or something else going on. And there are ways to turn that around and make things a lot better for everyone at work.
Yeah.
It takes wisdom to know when you're at that point of, is this just a normal cyclical feeling I'm going through? Or is this
I need to leave?
Yeah. Is this a reason for leaving? Those are questions, And I think it takes a lot of conscious thought to sit down, with yourself and just think through things logically and try to say, okay, I know that my feelings are really high about this right now. And I don't want to make a decision out of reacting. I want to make a decision out of making sure that I make the right choices for me. And sometimes it's really hard to do when emotions are running high. Yeah,
that's when you take a step back, as you suggested, write down what you appreciate, go for a walk. Yeah, take a step back.
And a lot of times we don't give ourselves the time to actually sit down and think through things because we're running from meeting to meeting. And then after work, we've got to, cook dinner, pick up the kids, do the dishes at home. We got to,
avoid
exercise.
Scrolling social media.
Yeah. And then we distract ourselves with social media. We distract ourselves with entertainment, watching Netflix, whatever. And we don't actually sit with our thoughts at all. I think that's a really huge problem we have in general. And especially when you're dealing with something like this, where you're dissatisfied with your job, I think it's really important to spend that time consistently. Even if you only do it a couple times a week, sit down for 20 minutes with no distractions and sit with your own thoughts. I got into this practice about 6 months ago of just sitting with my thoughts, and It's not something that I really set out to do. It just kind of happened naturally. And I realize that now when I don't have that time each day, I have a much harder day. And it's just nice to have that quiet and to be able to think through what I'm feeling and how I'm thinking about things. And it's changed my perspective on a lot of the ways that I feel about things, because I have to remind myself, and I have the time to remind myself, that my feelings are not truth. They're valid. It's okay that I have them. It's good that I'm allowing myself to feel things, but it doesn't mean that they are objective truth.
Yeah. That's a really good way to slow down too.
Yes. Which sometimes is the best thing you can do for your mental health.
Yeah.
So in any case, I hope our listeners are encouraged, especially those who have just been in a job for a couple years now, and you're going through this kind of a valley of dissatisfaction, and you are wondering, what's wrong with your job or what's wrong with you. Just realize this is perfectly normal. And anybody who's been in the same job for more than a couple years is going to tell you they've gone through the same.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not alone. So I hope this has encouraged you guys. I hope our frankness about good times and bad is helpful. Thank you all for listening, and send us your thoughts about this.
Yeah, please.
Laura!
What?
It's the end of season 1!
Oh my goodness, we did it!
I'm very excited. I can't believe how far we've come.
We have, yeah. Those first few episodes were rough, but we made it.
Yes, and hopefully our listeners survived through the first few as well.
If you have listened to everything, thank you sincerely.
Yes, and hopefully our bloopers made up for the sometimes cringy content that mostly I wrote. Not gonna lie, it's mostly my fault.
The scripts. The skits.
Laura's been a good sport through all of it, even when I cast her as the ding dong.
I mean, I think we both shared the ding dong role, and then sometimes we passed it to people that don't exist.
And when you were my manager in the episode about the screen sharing,
yeah,
I felt so small. I was like, oh, she's really like an intimidating manager, and she is glaring down at me right now. This is not good.
Voice acting, baby.
So we do want to talk a little bit about our very last episode that we did this week, which was Love Your Neighbor, because that's actually where this entire podcast idea started.
Yeah.
So Laura and I have spent many years talking to each other about our office lives. And as we were going through these episodes, it all boils down to the same thing. We need to treat others with love and respect and kindness. And, that whole golden rule thing, really a thing. So, Laura, I hope that we've encouraged people this season.
I really do
to love their coworkers.
Honestly, I do.
Do you feel encouraged as we've done this?
I do, actually. Yeah.
Because you do have some difficult coworkers, and you get a lot of requests in from sometimes difficult people.
It's true.
And sometimes taking that step back probably helps a little bit.
I was just thinking, yeah, that's the thing. That's the key.
Take a step back.
Take a breath.
Take a walk.
Take a minute. Take a coffee break.
Drink your sorrows in coffee.
No.
In coffee.
That's
Maybe decaf.
Not what I said, yeah.
And also just, realize that everybody's got human things happening, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't feel well, but you still come into work. Sometimes you've got a family member who's suffering with something that you can't do anything about. Sometimes your car broke down that day. We never know what's going on in people's lives.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard to remember that when they're the person who's angrily demanding something from you, or they're the one leaving dishes in a sink, or, doing other things in the office that can be, let's face it, obnoxious. But in the end, we're all humans, and we all need to give each other a bit of grace.
A lot of grace.
A lot
honestly,
of grace.
Sometimes, yeah.
And that doesn't come naturally to us.
No, we have to practice it every day.
Every day, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's with our families too. It's not even just our coworkers. Sometimes it's more with our families.
Yes. When we say love your neighbor is defined as whoever is nearest to you.
Whoever you're interacting with.
Yep.
So that might be your coworker. It might be the barista at Starbucks who just spilled your drink or got it wrong. It might be, your husband or your child. It could be the bus driver who didn't see your tiny little car next to them and almost came into your lane. And oh my goodness, I am so angry at them.
Yeah.
It's all of those things. And one of our very good friends, he told me something that I did put in the episode, which was always assume the best intention.
Yep.
In every interaction you have. And when he told me that, it really changed my perspective, because I was working with him at the company that I talked about where I was getting really angry every day working there. And he really changed my perspective when he told me that, because it was like, oh, okay, this person who sent me this demanding email, they want something from me and they are trying to accomplish something. That is why they are sending me this email. Okay, so they are trying to accomplish their job and they are frustrated and they want to do a good job. So I'm going to assume that that is the basis of why they're sending me this email. And that really does help you love your neighbor much more effectively when you assume the best.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I have told friends and family to please assume the best from me when I have been misunderstood sometimes.
Or your face is saying things that you don't intend.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have an episode about that. Talk about loud faces or like eyebrows that have their own mind.
They're going to say what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just sometimes, like, especially for me, I use a lot of the speech to text.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have sent some very strange text messages to people because I don't proofread them before I send them. And all of my friends now know that they should just assume whatever I actually said is the best possible interpretation of what I meant to say.
Yep.
Because otherwise...
Yep. And if it's super confusing, we just ask. Like, I'm sorry, what?
What are you trying to say?
Can you try that again, please?
Because I don't think you meant that you're actually going to steal my car and burn it down.
Correct.
No, that is not what I was sending you. I'm so sorry. And, sometimes I actually, the example we give in the episode of somebody leaving their caps lock key on, I have actually had people do that. Specifically one coworker who was asking me to help with something. And they had their caps lock key on and they were not looking at what they were typing because they were talking to someone else while they were asking me for help. And so I went over there to help them because this was in office. I walked over to them to help them and they were being really pleasant. And I was kind of confused because in their message, they were yelling at me. and so finally, like, we resolved the problem. And I was like, you're a lot calmer than I thought you were going to be. And they were like, well, why did you think that I wasn't calm? I was like, well, your message sounded really upset. And they looked
screaming at me.
Exactly. They looked back at their message. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize my caps lock key was on. So I've actually had that happen. So
that is also somewhat of a generational thing as well. Those of us who grew up on the internet know that all caps means yelling.
Other people, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also,
that's my point. That's
I've noticed that it's not just older people who have that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
There's also younger people, because sometimes I've seen caps used as like an excitement thing, is it a like not just excitement, but also a hey, I need your attention, but it not necessarily angry,
like emphasis.
Yeah,
okay.
They use caps as emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really interesting to see the generational dynamic in that.
Sure.
But for a certain segment of us, all caps means yelling.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Probably the same generation that we used to go in our emails and we used to make little pictures of like cats and things with the dashes and the slashes and stuff and like line by line, like it was a laser printer. Yeah. Probably that same generation.
Yeah. No.
So Laura, have you ever had any coworkers that you just admire for how composed and kind they are to others, even when others are being difficult.
Yes. I have a supervisor. He did not start as my supervisor. He climbed the ranks very quickly because he comes across as so calm and so like nothing is an emergency. And if it is, let's talk about it calmly. See, I'm even talking calmly just thinking about him.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of vibe that he puts out. Now, he has a military background, which I do not have.
Yes.
But he has conflict resolution down. He also has, this person in front of me is stressed, and I'm going to calm them down.
I'm going to bring the situation down.
I'm going to make them take a breath, and I love that.
It's really helpful, especially for those of us who tend to be a bit higher stress. And also if you're in a high stress job.
Yeah.
Having those people who really are the calm factor is amazing. And I am so grateful for them. I had a female boss at one point. I would call her unflappable. Despite everything going on, you know, $1 million deals that were in jeopardy and, you know, all the things that happen in a workplace. And she was one of those people that, just like your supervisor, who just took an emergency situation and said, okay, we need to handle this. Let's take a step back for a second. All right. In order to resolve this, what do we need to do? And she would walk us through it, and then we'd go execute the plan, and things would be okay. You know, whatever happened, it was going to happen. She was a huge mentor in my life, and I always wanted to be more like her because I saw her kind of leadership. I saw how she could calm any situation. And I also saw that she didn't react to people who were actively treating her poorly. She did not allow them to dictate what she was going to do. And I've really tried to work hard to be more like that. I still struggle with that. But I also think that there's a lot of people out there who don't have those skills yet, but we can all develop them. And I think that's important to remember, is just because you have maybe a higher stress person in general, or maybe you're the person who's more reactionary. Some of us, our brains just immediately fire back.
Yeah.
We're not good at taking a breath. But you can actually learn these skills. They're not skills that people are just born with.
No, it does take practice.
And I would say, like, I mean, I don't know about you, Laura, but
yeah,
I'm better now than I was 10 years ago.
Oh, I for sure am. Yes. Oh, I said for
Are
sure.
You for sure? You also said vibes earlier.
I know. But I use it in the way that
it should be.
Yeah, I feel, yes, I have opinions. What do I need to say instead of for sure? Absolutely. Yes. Yes, I agree completely. Yes.
I just love how you're tying the end of the season to the beginning.
I did
it's
not
beautiful.
mean
it's beautiful.
Vibes. I didn't mean to do that.
But you are better than you were 10 years ago. Because we've grown as people.
Yeah.
And with experience, hopefully we gain some wisdom. And also, if you really struggle in this area, you can actually do like dedicated learning to certain things. So if you are a person who doesn't manage your stress well, you need to find avenues where you can manage your stress better, or even better is learning how to not allow other people's actions to cause you stress. Because ultimately, stress is internal. People can do things all around you, but it does not mean that you have to be stressed out.
This is the you can't control what happens, but you can control how you react to it.
Yes. But that takes a lot of practice.
Yes, it does.
It is not easy. I don't want anybody to go into this and think, I'm just going to switch that light switch and I'm just going to, suddenly not react to things. It doesn't work like that. It's more like a dimmer switch. And for me, it's a really slow turning one.
Right. We are not robots. Everyone, please remember that.
Yes. If you are a robot and you're listening to this, we'd like to know. So please send us an email.
Hello. We welcome our robot overlords.
She might. I don't. But I'm going to program them. So it's fine. Right? Like, it's fine. I'm going to design their software. It's going to be fine. So anyway,
amazing.
we really hope that this whole season has helped you guys.
And as we wrap up now, we are thinking about season 2. We only have so many stories to tell of our own. I'm sure we can dig up a few more, right?
Oh, definitely.
But what we'd really like is for people to email us or leave us comments on the various socials, and don't give names or tell us where you work necessarily, but
we're going to keep it as anonymous as possible.
But we would love to hear your stories. Everyone needs to know they're not alone in this.
Some of the stories this season have been from others that we know,
yes,
who've shared their experiences, and oftentimes it gives us a new perspective.
Yeah. We're also playing around with the idea of inviting some of those friends onto the show to get their unique perspectives.
Yeah. So let us know if you'd like to hear some other perspectives here and, some other voices in different sectors. And, what you guys have thought of this season.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for listening. All right.
Because for everything.
What?
Because for everything, there is a season. Let me finish a sentence, woman. All right. This is called Love Your Neighbor.
Love.
Okay, I did not mean to say it like that. We hope that this season of Get Smart Office Edition has shown you that the best way to work in an office is by loving your... Loving?
Loving. Do you love your neighbor? Neighbor love.
Your landlubber.
Your landlubber love your neighbor.
Wow. I will take things I didn't expect to mess up for 500, Alex. Good grief.
I know, that's what my laugh made me laugh. Okay, I don't know what else to tell you.
I understand. I do that all the time. Take a breath, Shannon. All right.
It is our sincere hope that we have helped you get a bit smarter this season about handling the difficulties of working in an office.
As we close out this season, we want to thank everyone who has listened, laughed, and cringed right along with us as we delved into the weirdness of office life.
If you enjoyed this season and you would like us to come back for season 2, please let us know in the comments or by emailing us at gsoe@diecastmediagroup.com.
And make sure to send us your office stories or topic suggestions.
If you know anyone who might benefit from getting smarter at office life, please share this podcast with them on YouTube, Spotify, or any of the various podcast catchers.
And as always, we would like to thank our crew for the amazing work they did this season. Wendy, our audio editor, none of these episodes would have seen the light of day without you. Lelia, our social media manager, thank you for diving into the setup and management of all our communications and publishing. Rebecca, our animator, thank you for giving our skits life and making us laugh. Austin, our technical engineer, thank you for getting us off the ground and always being willing to troubleshoot our weird problems.
And special thanks to you, Laura, for going on this journey with me to turn our weird office experiences into something useful for others.
And thank you so much, Shannon, for inviting me. But a special thanks to you, our listeners, who encourage us every day to get smart.
Get Smart Office Edition is a DieCast Media Group production.
Aw, that was so wholesome.